Folks, it is hotter than a Texas barbecue here at Circuit of the Americas, but we're very fortunate. We're indeed very lucky. We are sitting in the Optima Batteries fan zone, and in our little compound here, it's inside, it's air conditioned, we're comfortable, but we are excited as well about what's to come. So a big thanks to the folks from Optima Batteries for providing us this great location for our Pirelli World Challenge pre-race show for the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge here at Circuit of the Americas. I'm Greg Creamer, this is Jeff Lepper, and we are just a few minutes away from the start of round 5 of the GT and GTS championships. And if it's anything like we saw yesterday, Jeff, it is going to be a scorcher, both figuratively and literally. Great racing in round 4.
Oh yeah, you said that right, and you got to look at Johnny O'Connell in that Cadillac Racing, Cadillac CTS VR, winning your title sponsor race, the boss's race, and so to speak. And Lawson Aschenbach, another GM car coming in first place in his Black Dog Motorsports Chevy Camaro, getting it done as well.
But good battles. It wasn't a walk. It looked like it at first in that GT battle. Johnny O'Connell getting a gap, but boy, James Sifronis chased him down, simply ran out of time. Great battles as both the Camaros of Aschenbach and Andy Lee got around the Kias from the Kinetic team and were able to make it a fascinating race. We expect this to just be fascinating as it gets going here. However, earlier this morning, round number 3 unfolded in the Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec classes, as this is the opening rounds of the championship for those teams. As always in those two categories, some pretty exciting racing. And a bit earlier, after that race, you were able to sneak down and get some interviews with our winners.
So Brett Sandberg getting the win, round number 3. You getting acclimated to these front-wheel drive cars now?
Yeah, it took me a little bit to get used to it again, but Compass 360 guys did a great job. You know, we had a pretty good car yesterday, made a few changes overnight, and that car was just awesome today. Hooked up everywhere. Big thanks to everybody at Honda Racing, Compass 360 guys did an awesome job.
All right, here with our youngest race winner now 3 times in a row, Ernie Francis Jr. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a really long race, a tough race, and played out in my favor.
Now, any strategy there behind Joel? You stayed behind him for a majority of the race, and then once you got around him, you pulled right away.
Yeah, I was staying behind him, just keeping the pressure on him for a little bit, and then I saw an opportunity to get past, and once I got past, I just pushed it as hard as I could because I saw they were battling, the 3 of them back there. I needed to pull away as far as I could while they were battling, so that's what I did out there.
Well, again, some great racing in that Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec stuff, and exciting to know that they're running a full 14-race slate this year in the second year, and the growth in that class, both of them really, has been spectacular. You know, it's also a very special year for one of our partners with the Pirelli World Challenge. The official racing school is the Bondurant School of High Performance Driving. It is the program's 45th year anniversary, amazing in and of itself, and the icon, the legend himself, Bob Bondurant, 80 years old this year, but still going strong, and we caught up with him earlier in the paddock. He's a busy man with a great future.
I'm Bob Bondurant. I own Bondurant School of High Performance Driving for 45 years, and we've trained over 500,000 students in that time. It's amazing. The great thing about Bondurant School is people like Johnny O'Connell was an instructor at my school for 7 years, and then left and started racing, started winning races. Andy Lee's been an instructor, and I've never had anyone go through the school and did not go quicker. Always quicker. It's only the little things that you don't know. We are the official high performance driving school for Chevrolet. The new Corvette Stingray is going to be the new Bondurant fleet. We love it.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Bob on his birthday, on the 45th anniversary of the school, but also looking at it, some incredibly exciting news coming out with that ongoing connection and putting that Chevrolet, that Stingray. Wow, what a deal.
I know, I think it's time for me and you to go take the course now. I mean, especially when they get the new Stingrays.
Yeah, me with Johnny, you with Andy.
Yeah, I think
vice
so.
versa.
Works,
Either
yeah.
one of them is fantastic and spectacular. It will be a great thing. And folks, seriously, whatever level of racing you're in, or if you're not, if you want to go racing, get a hold of the folks at Bondurant School of High Performance Driving. You've seen Johnny O'Connell winning yesterday, Andy Lee almost bringing it through to the win. These guys are top flight. The instructors there are superb through and through. Another guy who's proven to be a pretty quick pilot here in the Pirelli World Challenge is Tim Papis of Black Swan. Debuting for a full season program this year, the Mercedes-AMG SLS GT3 program. And when we come back, we're going to have a visit with him and find out how things are going. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Cadillac Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas is being brought to you by the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTS V Coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Optima batteries. With twice the life and 15 times the vibration resistance, Optima batteries really are the ultimate power source. The Pirelli World Challenge, the most intense and unique sports car racing on the planet. Multiple classes running at the same time, but in a sprint format. Some of the world's top manufacturers and the world's best drivers, all beginning with standing starts. It is truly sports car wars. For series and event ticket information, check out world-challenge.com. To watch replays of all the intense action, check out world-challengetv.com. And always check it out, Pirelli World Challenge on Facebook. Welcome back to the Optima Batteries Fan Zone for more of our pre-race show for the Pirelli World Challenge. This, the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge here at Circuit of the Americas. You know, in the race yesterday, we've been watching as this season has unfolded, the first 3 races in the championship. Every race, one of the teams, one of the programs, a little bit better in terms of the results. And yesterday, they cracked the top 5 in the GT category. In a developmental year, it's been pretty remarkable. We're so happy to have you with us here. And Tim Papis, Black Swan Motorsports, that amazing Mercedes that you brought out this year. You've said our whole goal in the early part of the season was to work on it, develop it, bring it along. Boy, did you in that race yesterday.
You know, every once in a while, Greg, things come together, and this actually going into the race P11, I was not real confident about what we were going to be able to do, but the Mercedes has been so strong in the second half of races, and it just came together for us.
Well, we talked to you a little bit earlier in the weekend. You were talking about it was a little bit pushy and you weren't exactly sure what it was going to have, but then you expressed exactly what you just said. If we can be close, we might be able to give them something at the end. But those last few laps, man, you were throwing down scorchers.
Yeah, the thing that was sort of interesting being out there was it seemed like some of the other guys were maybe getting to the end of their comfort zone on tires or engine temperature, and we just sort of stormed along and stayed in the game, and the car just got better and better and better as we went. We still really didn't have good front end grip, but at the end, under braking and mechanical grip off corners, we were really strong.
Now, all your different series that you've run in and won championships in and come in here, you bring the Mercedes SLS AMG GT3 to World Challenge. What's the draw for you to come in that?
You know, it's purely selfish. I mean, I've spent a lot of time racing in endurance championships and winning races with, you know, standout international superstar drivers, and it's tough. You know, sometimes guys want to give all the credit and you know, say, and also Tim Papis ran with Jerome Bleekemolen, but that Bleekemolen is amazing. And you know, I just decided when we started working with Mercedes, it was about coming to do a sprint racing championship. It's really a homecoming for me because you know, 2002 and 2003 I ran in World Challenge, and this was just about coming back and showing people what I could do. And it's been incredibly rewarding to work with AMG and everybody at Mercedes in the U.S. and in Germany. Just a fantastic group.
Now, your car has the windows we see on the doors, and I've heard a rumor you're, you know, 90 degrees here, but you're air conditioning.
Purportedly air conditioning. I've never used it. No, the car does have air conditioning, but it has such incredibly well-developed ventilation. It was all developed in a wind tunnel. So the driver gets so much fresh air that you know, I've got actually 2 fan speeds and air conditioning, and I still am just using the no fan pure ventilation. So you know, the hotter it gets, the better it is for us.
Maybe it's just that it's so cool to be driving that car. That is just an incredible one. The car itself is fantastic, but also, as always, Black Swan has laid a graphics package on that thing that is just stunning.
Yeah, thank you. No, the guys. Actually, it was work with the media barons in the U.S. and HWA in Germany did the work, and it turned out so well, and we're really lucky, particularly at a weekend like COTA, where Pirelli World Challenge has got so many fans, and everybody is just all over the car, mob scene, you know, smartphones out, taking pictures of it, so it's really fun.
In the race yesterday, did you learn anything that's going to help you when you climb into the car and get in that suit in just a few minutes?
Yeah, definitely. We've changed the setup of the car, and I think that what we saw where the car got better towards the end of the race, we understand a little bit more how to get some front grip in the car. So we changed the car, and we've raised the back of the car up a little bit, and I think that maybe it's going to help us. We'll see. Or we'll go the wrong direction, but it'll be fun trying.
Well, it's as long as it responds to the changes. That's the key, obviously.
Yeah.
And of course, in that race, one of the great stories was the success that Johnny O'Connell had here at the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge, winning that race in a Cadillac. So when Johnny tells you what the key corners are on a track, now in particular this one, you better pay attention. And that means it is time indeed for us to get you to the Cadillac key corners and a look at this national course, 2.3 miles instead of the usual 3.4, in the hands of yesterday's race winner in that Cadillac CTS VR, Johnny O'Connell.
Hi, this is Johnny O'Connell with Cadillac Racing, and this weekend World Challenge is at the amazing Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Let's take a lap. Big hill. Into turn one, you change down to second gear. Love this part of the racetrack. Third gear, into fourth gear. You are hauling through here. Up into fifth gear, and now coming up to a very exciting part of the racetrack. These are decreasing radius S's. You're right, you're left, you're into fourth gear now. Now down to third. Now coming up to really what has become one of my favorite parts. It's the shortcut. Back to the racetrack, you come through the chicane. Big jump there, hard on the brakes. Back, drift the car all the way out to the curb, into fourth gear, fifth gear. Now a lot of technique stuff, down into second gear, and you notice the road falls away. The thing about Circuit of the Americas, it's unbelievably smooth, like a billiard table, but a lot of nuance, little small elevation changes that myself and the engineers get challenged by. Anyway, we're back up into third gear, coming into turn 15, hard on the brakes, down to second gear, get low down, into third gear, fourth gear. Now we come up to a fun part of the racetrack, the carousel. We're in fourth gear. You can see slight elevation changes, inducing skids, oversteer, understeer. Hopefully getting into our apex, flat out in fifth gear. Turn 19, great corner, break down to third gear, into our apex, drifting out wide. Too much fun, up into fourth gear. Now coming up to our final corner, back down to second, sometimes third gear. Out on the straightaway. Man, does anything get more beautiful than that?
Well, there's a lap of Circuit of the Americas, the national course, 2.3 miles by the winner of round 4, Johnny O'Connell. And a very interesting place, certainly when you're on the national course, much more of a short course feel to it, lots of transitions, but you still get those long 16, 17, 18 corners. It's going to be interesting. They got to do it again. They got to do it in the heat of the day again coming up. Jeff, who are you thinking in GT?
Oh man, Johnny O'Connell again. You can't go wrong there. Really pull away. If he can keep James Sofronis behind him, hit lap traffic the right way, I see Johnny O'Connell in that Cadillac CTS-V doing it again, making it 2 in a row.
And you know what? I've got to take a quick look here at James Sofronis for the simple reason that late in the race, he found that speed that he always does. And early in the race, he got trapped behind Randy Popes for a little while, and that's what allowed Johnny to get a bit of a gap. If James can get the start he wants, latch onto the back of Johnny, I think we could see an awfully good battle, and maybe James get it done. GTS?
Oh, Andy Lee, that best IT, Bob Bondurant, Chevy Camaro, finished second today, right on the heels of Lawson, starting on pole today because it's based off a fastest race lap yesterday. So I look for Andy Lee to kind of get a little bit of a gap. Lawson may catch him, but I'm pretty sure that Andy Lee, with his Bob Bondurant experience, can keep him back at bay.
Oh, nice plug. And I'm going to go with Lawson for the simple reason that Lawson talked about after the race. He said, we actually thought we had a little bit of a problem with the car as it relates to some tire use. He said, we think we may be able to solve that and be able to go a little bit quicker. Regardless, once again, it is going to be a spectacular race in both divisions.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can't wait for the start of this thing coming up.
I know, and it's coming up soon. As a matter of fact, it's time for us to wrap things up here, get into the booth. I'm going to try and head trackside again, and we're going to bring you the starting lineup in just a few minutes for the start of round 5 of the GT and GTS Pirelli World Challenge Championships. It's the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge right here at Circuit of the Americas, so don't go anywhere. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Cadillac Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas is being brought to you by the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTS-V coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Optima batteries. With twice the life and 15 times the vibration resistance, Optima batteries really are the ultimate power source. Pirelli World Challenge, the most intense and unique sports car racing on the planet. Multiple classes running at the same time, but in a sprint format. Some of the world's top manufacturers and the world's best drivers, all beginning with standing starts. It is truly Sports Car Wars. For series and event ticket information, check out world-challenge.com. To watch replays of all the intense action, check out world-challengetv.com. And always check it out, Pirelli World Challenge on Facebook. Revs coming up, we're green!
Big move coming off the 3.
2, 3, 4 abreast in some spots.
Side-by-side action.
He absolutely nailed it.
Three-way battle.
And we've got an incident. You would expect nothing less.
Flips the inside apex.
Very racy. This is going to get interesting.
That is a brave move. What a pass. This is what World Challenge is all about.
To get out there with the fan walk, get out and on that track into the pits and visit some of these machines that have been putting on such a show here as this weekend has unfolded. Just remarkable. Thanks all you fans for, one, coming out and having that great grid walk and fan walk and enjoying, and also thank you for doing such a great job of moving off, clearing that area so that we can get underway with our final Pirelli World Challenge race of this event. In our first visit, certainly, to this beautiful Circuit of the Americas, the Pirelli World Challenge Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas. This is the second race of this weekend, the fifth race of the season for the GT and GTS machines, and they have made their installation lap and are coming around for some pre-race ceremonies that we will have unfolding here in just a couple of minutes. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Jeff Lepper, and looking forward to this one. It was a phenomenal race that we saw yesterday in both of the classes. At one point it looked like the GT class, like Johnny O'Connell might just walk it, and James Safronis had a comment about that, came back, made it very close, and that battle between the two Camaros in the GTS division of Lawson Aschenbach and Andy Lee was fantastic.
Yeah, it sure was. It was, well, both races were really, never really kind of knew who was going to win, but James Safronis running down Johnny O'Connell. That Audi always is better on the longer runs. He showed that it does it again. Kind of got held up by Randy Popst a lot during that race. Now that's not the chance here. He's starting second on the grid.
And will he stay second? Because we know those Volvos get the launch. However, we have seen some pretty good starts. Certainly, Johnny O'Connell getting an awesome start yesterday and able to hold off Randy Popes, and that really, I think, spelled the difference in that race. If he'd got in behind Randy, the way that Volvo sort of tailed off later in the race, I think they would have got around him, but he wouldn't have had anywhere near the margin over Safronis. Should be a good one today.
Yeah, and we mentioned that before yesterday, too. Catching Johnny O'Connell is a whole lot different than passing Johnny O'Connell.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Absolutely. We're looking forward to a great race here. And here's an idea of just how interesting things are in the points. Right now, up front in the points, James Safronis with a great start to the season has a comfortable lead in GT. But in GTS, with Lawson Aschenbach getting his second straight win yesterday, the points difference, and keep in mind, folks, you can accrue all over 100 points depending upon how things go with a race win, leading laps, and the like. You can accrue over 100 points. After 4 rounds, Lawson Aschenbach sits second in the points, 1 behind Jack Baldwin. It's that close already. 4 races into the season. That's phenomenal stuff. Jeff, I think it's time to get a run through on our grid, and let's take a look at who's doing what here in the categories. Why don't you give us a look at GTS?
Yeah, starting on the pole in our GTS. Now remember, folks, this was based off of lap times of the fastest race from round number 4 yesterday. So pole position will be Andy Lee in his best IT Chevy Camaro number 20. Lawson Aschenbach second in the number 10 Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Camaro. On the inside of row number 2 for GTS will be Mark Wilkins in the Kia Motors America Kia Optima. Jack Baldwin, you mentioned him before, our points leader now, currently starting in 4th in that Motul StopTech Fometics Porsche Cayman S. Nick Johnson, the teammate there to Mark Wilkins in the other Kia Optima from Kia Motors America, starting in 5th. 6th place, the legend Peter Cunningham from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, his Acura HPD Real-Time Racing Acura TSX. The young kid, we have the legend Petey Cunningham, starting 7th. 17-year-old Alec Udell, local here from the Woodlands, Texas, the Motorsports Development Group, LaBeouf Towing Brothers, AmSource Capital, Ford Mustang boss. Starting in the 8th position, that will be Lou Gelati, 3-time Pirelli World Challenge Series champion in his LG Motorsport Chevy Camaro. In the 9th position, it will be the teammate to Lawson Aschenbach, Tony Gaples, the other Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Camaro. Luis Cantanilla starts in his debut race weekend here, number 81 Porsche Cayman S from New York Spine Heritage One Day. Sorry about that. Scott Beauvais in the classic BMW Motul BBS Eibach BMW M3 taking his first start this weekend here. Second now on this weekend in the 11th position. Dane Moxlow in the Trenton Forging Eaton Steel Ford Mustang starts in 12th. Nick Hassan, the teammate to Petey Cunningham in the other Acura TSX from HPD Real-Time Racing. Brad Adams in the number 14 Voodoo Dat Dog Yo MTV Raps had a great run in a race yesterday. Look for that car to move up in his Ford Mustang. Roger Miller, the Larry H. Miller dealership's Ford Mustang Boss 302 starts in 15th. Harry Curtin, the number 29 Best IT Bob Bondurant Chevy Camaro in 16th. Jim Taggart, that little tiny Lotus Exige S. It's lightweight, high horsepower, that little Lotus from Lotus USA Taggart Autosport. Eric Davis, the StopTech AE Performance Ford Mustang boss starts in 18th, and his teammate Roger Rodas right behind him from El Salvador in the always evolving Performance Ford Mustang. 21st goes to Todd Neporoskia in the Chevy Camaro, the Total Performance Chevy Camaro. Joseph Cantinilla, the dad of Lucas, starts in the 22nd position in the other NY Spine Heritage One Day Porsche Cayman. Buzz McCall, the teammate there to Jack Baldwin. Jack Baldwin's old team owner in the Trans Am Series in his Motul StopTech Fometics Porsche Cayman on 23rd. Artie Topi, we saw him a little bit earlier, that Leo Capaldi Racing Ford Mustang boss in 24th. Robert Stout, great story there, TRD, Ken Stout Racing, Lucas Oil, Scion FRS in 25th. Bill Ziegler, the Swisher Racing Pontiac Solstice, and also one of those 7 Global Motorsport Group cars in 26th, and Stephen Goldman in 27th, the ZSA Motorsports Camaro. Don't think he made the call here for the race today, unfortunately. Sad to see Steve not here.
Absolutely it is. To tell you what, though, look at this shot on the grid. One of the things that the Pirelli World Challenge is renowned for and very proud of is our open fan walk on the grid. The fans can come out, get right on the grid with the cars, and be able to wander around, take a good look at these things in race prep mode, ready to go. And one of the things we also appreciate, of course, is when the words come to start clearing the grid, to do that as safely but as quickly as you can. But enjoying this moment here with the grid walk, and it looks like that clearing the grid has begun, and the fans here doing an absolutely superb job here. Let's now take you through our overall front of the grid, the GT category, the big boomers, the very high horsepower, high performance cars. Johnny O'Connell, his fastest lap in the race yesterday, a 1:34.1 in the race. Incredibly quick in his Cadillac Racing CTS VR, the number 3, giving him his second consecutive pole here this weekend. It's the point leader that will start alongside. You take a look at the screen there, that beautiful Audi from Global Motorsports Group, Mobile 1 on that car, the number 14 of James Safronis. Starting third, teammate to James Safronis, a great lap once again in the race by Duncan Endy as he clawed his way up through the pack, ended up 7th, but on his way set a stellar lap. And that Standorg organization, Merchant Services, GMG Audi R8 of Duncan Endy, number 24. Another guy who put in an unbelievable drive. He had qualified very well, but had a clutch stick on the launch, dropped way back, and Andy Pilgrim fought and fought and fought and brought it back to the podium. The number 8 Cadillac Racing CTS VR, and on the way set a lap good enough for 4th quickest. Starting 5th, the 08 Alex Welch in the Spider Lasso GMG Audi R8 LMS, and alongside another of the that great group of Audis from Global Motorsports Group, number 40 Mike Hedlund in the Under Armour machine. Starting 7th, number 6 is Randy Popst in the fastest of the K-Pax Racing Volvos. Those are those turbocharged 5-cylinder engines at the all-wheel drive. It's going to be interesting to see if they've been able to find anything in terms of a setup to allow them to run quicker later in the race. That all-wheel drive platform, good early, but then it wears the fronts off with them driving and steering, and they're going to have to come up with a solution. One of the best drives of the day yesterday came from Tim Papis in the Black Swan Mercedes-Benz AMG SLS. Started 11th spot, ended up late in the race, last couple of laps, made a couple of great moves, got into the top 5 for the first time this season in that amazing number 54. Starting in the 9th spot is number 9, Alex Figge, second in the K-Pax Racing Volvos, and starting 10th, number 2 in the Hawk Performance Chevrolet Corvette is Mike Skeen. Starting 11th, number 32 is Brett Curtis, another Global Motorsports Group entered Audi R8 LMS. This is the United Steel Supply Inspector Resources entry. Starting in, the 12th spot, number 46, Tommy Dreese in the Heat sponsored Porsche. That's a car that was provided to him to use after a big wreck in his normal car at Long Beach. True Speed giving him that opportunity, and the GTS Sport Goldcrest team that fuels Baldwin and McCall prepping that car for him this weekend to allow him to get here. Starting in the 13th spot, number 99, Jeff Courtney in the Kenda Wreck Stuff Audi R8 LMS from Jeff Courtney Racing. Starting in the 14th spot, coming back after missing the round at Long Beach with some after some serious damage in a testing accident. They made it to St. Pete, but the car wasn't quite right. They decided, we're going to miss Long Beach, we're going to get this thing in right form. And Peter Lessafre, the number 33 Fusion Worldwide Green Hornet Mercedes-Benz SLS GT3. Starting 15th, number 12, Tim Bell, as the development work continues for the Hawk Performance Nissan GTR program. Strong support from Nissan Motorsports in developing this GTR for World Challenge GT trim. Starting in the 16th spot, number 15, Robert Prilica in the Porsche of Colorado Springs Porsche 911 GT3, and completing the GT field, starting in the 17th spot, it is number 25, David Donner, the rookie, in his Porsche 911 GT3. Again, this will be a 50-minute timed race. If everything goes well, we're anticipating it being on the order of 27 laps in this one, and that should be absolutely spectacular. Again, the big issue here, it's getting hot once again, and we know some of the guys were just fine in the car. Tim Papis said the ducting in that GT3 Mercedes, he said, I don't need to have a cool suit or even run an AC unit. He said it's fine. Other drivers were hurting a bit when they were getting out of the cars. I'm sure those teams have been working on getting air into those cockpits.
Yeah, one of those that we saw when I was down on the pit lane doing the interviews there was Jim Taggart. He was a little bit heat stroke, had medical right there. The awesome facilities here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, and the great medical staff was right on him right before the car stopped. They were there waiting for him, so good heads up from those folks here at COTA.
Absolutely. So it's looking forward to being a pretty good race. At this moment, I'd like to bring in a very special guest. Of course, this is the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge here at Circuit of the Americas for the Pirelli World Challenge. And it's always a pleasure for us to have Jim Verpilot with us of Cadillac. And Jim, now after a full day of activity yesterday and the Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec racing that unfolded this morning, both classes once again putting on some phenomenal shows. What's your take? How happy are you to have Cadillac involved in a race sponsorship level for World Challenge right here at Circuit of the Americas?
You know, we couldn't be happier, Greg. You know, a couple years ago we sat down with the owners of World Challenge, Scott Bouvet, and we said, we really need to race in Texas. It's the biggest market for us nationwide. It's the biggest market for our V-Series. So we've got over 200 owners up top of the hill, and it's huge for us to be here. You know, what a beautiful facility, first class. So to be here and then for Johnny to take that win yesterday in front of all those owners, it's always nice. They're like, wow, you got us a pole. And I go, hey, we went one better and got you a win. So we couldn't be happier. I think this, you know, I don't even want to call it a track. It's a facility. It is amazing. So to be here with World Challenge, to put it on this type of event in front of the fans is great.
And up there where you have all of those cars, you've got a great hospitality area. We've popped in yesterday, just came up to see it, and the view from up there is spectacular, and you can see why this is such a world-class facility, and it's great to have it here in Texas. And we come back here at the end of the year for the finale, so yeah, getting a double whammy in your big market.
Yeah, we're picking up Houston at the end of the year, so perfect for us. And you know, it was interesting, you said you were up there. We brought Johnny and Andy up to the top of the hospitality on Friday before anybody was there, and they looked over the track and they said, guys, this is amazing. And you know, it really there's nothing that rivals it anywhere. I mean, we've had some great vantage points at Sonoma, some good ones at Laguna, but nothing like this. I mean, we basically see 80% of the track from up there, see all the turns, see all the action, and just a phenomenal facility. So we're really pumped.
Got to ask you, Cadillac came in the 2005 era, came in, ran World Challenge for a while. There was a great tie, I think, between running that and the image of Cadillac being the becoming luxury performance. Then you took a little bit of a break. What brought you back?
Well, a couple things brought us back. The coupe. You know, we brought the coupe body style. We knew we always wanted to race the coupe B. You know, we had a little delay on that program simply because, you know, it's about when the economy took a dip. So we never anticipated being out as, you know, for that 3-year hiatus. We thought it would maybe be a year or so. And that's what brought us back is the coupe. We said that's the body style we want to race and we want to run. And it's worked out beautifully for us.
It has indeed, and the return here has been very successful. Once again, Johnny winning the championship last year. In the second year, you guys were in the championship, and the involvement continues. It's been absolutely spectacular. And I'll tell you what, you know, you pick any car, any class racing here this weekend, I don't think anything sounds quite like that Cadillac CTS-R V8. It's pretty awesome.
You know, we're excited about that. In fact, we've had some of the Aussies come up to us, and even some of our Holden engineers, you know, that's part of GM, say, boy, does that thing sound amazing.
It does indeed, and I'll tell you what, we're getting very close, so we're going to let you get that sound to rumble once again here on the front straight at Circuit of the Americas for the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas. To do the command, Mr. Jim Verpilot.
On behalf of our friends at Optima Batteries and all of our Cadillac dealers and owners worldwide, welcome to the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at beautiful Circuit of the Americas. Drivers, start your engines.
Ah, nice. That is one of the great sounds in all of motorsports. We love it. Each of the cars out there has a remarkable sound. Certainly that big V8 thumping in that Cadillac is spectacular, but it's the orchestra, all of the different instruments from around the world and Pirelli World Challenge, when they all come to life, it is a beautiful symphony that unfolds at a very, very high pace. Jim, thanks so much for coming up. Hump yourself up to that great viewing platform. It's going to be an awesome one. Should be great. We've got 50 minutes, 27 laps of racing unfolding here for round 5 of the GT and GTS divisions of the Pirelli World Challenge, the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas, and the GT field is underway, and now the GTS field starts to move as well. Jeff, well, I'm getting pumped. This is going to be fantastic. We are looking forward to this one for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to do this. And let's move on into our local race analysis. This is a 2.3 mile, 20-turn road course, so a lot of turns in that little space. Yeah. It's going to be 27 laps or 50 minutes, whichever comes first. for round number 5 of the Pirelli World Challenge here at Circuit of the Americas.
Speaking of Pirelli World Challenge, how about some storylines?
We have our
Pirelli storylines.
Presented by Volvo as well, and it's
Yep.
got to be, can anybody double up here today? Is it going to be Johnny O'Connell? Can James Safranis run those guys down? And I think it's going to come to a battle of the Camaros. Which one's it going to be? Is it going to be Lawson Aschenbach or pole sitter Andy Lee?
Yeah, I had a nice chat with Petey Cunningham's crew, and they said we made some setup changes on the car. He said it's just the heat in these long duration corners with a front drive car where the fronts are doing everything. He said we made some setup changes. He said, oh, we'll be a little bit better than we were yesterday. Maybe surprise these guys. You can never count on that real-time crew, to be sure. Talked to James Safranis right before the race started, and I said, you going to go a lap sooner? And he went, you bet. He said, I'm not waiting quite that late. We're going to see what we can do here. So there's a lot of fire in the bellies of these drivers here, especially the ones that were close to get to that top step.
Yeah, by the way, we just want to make sure we welcome everybody that's tuned in live at world-challengetv.com. We had our pre-race show a little bit earlier. It was a little challenging with the big crowd here and the great fans at Austin, Texas to get from our booth up here to this booth to do this, man. I'm telling you, I was hoofing it to get over here, but it was pretty great, you know, from that.
It was spectacular, and of course,
we've been waiting for the
had a great interview with Jim Papis. Really what a drive he put in. Started 11th, and he had said, our car gets good later. He said, if I make a mistake, and he said, I think we're going to have something. And boy, did he. And then his last lap, we jumped up at least 2 spots, maybe 3, to make the top 5 for the first time in that full year development program for that Mercedes-Benz. Look for more of the same from him today.
Absolutely want to see that car, because it's a great looking car. All of our cars are great looking, but that car is amazing.
Yeah, well, he said it in our pre-race show, didn't he? He said, in the end, racers are all children, and we like shiny stuff. It's that simple.
But I like his honesty in the pre-race show. He talked about, when I said, hey, you like coming over to World Challenge? And it was, I'm selfish. Yeah. Do it myself. That's right. 50 minutes sprint race here, 27 laps. You make a pit stop or have a mistake, you're not going to finish well.
Yeah, I mean, he's won 2 championships in the American Le Mans Series GTC division, but that's you're sharing the car with other drivers. And he said, this is it. He said, the focus is on you. You don't have to compromise the car setup the way you need to with somebody else. You just tell the crew, here's how I want it. Crew makes it happen, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's your fault. That's how it is, and that's how it shows. All right, folks, the grid is clearing. You see some of the officials making the move. The field here is so big, the back part of the GTS machines will actually grid around the backside of turn number 20. That's Tom Mickwald, and when everything gets settled, he will give the signal from the back of the grid. Not sure we'll be able to see it with the field all the way around the back, but he waves that green flag, which basically says the grid is clear, everybody is ready, and then it is a quick 5-second blast to the lights. Remember, those wheeling lights, they're going to be on the right side of the screen if you're watching at world-challengetv.com. They'll be along the fence on the right side of your screen. You just see them come on. When they go out, that is the official start of the race. And hopefully we're going to have one barn burner of a race. As we said here in the pre-race show, it's toasty. Not quite as hot as it was yesterday by all of 2 or 3 degrees difference, but it's mid-90s again. 5 minutes.
5 seconds.
Here are 5 minutes, Here we go. Ready to go. Watching that right side. Those red lights, they're on. When they go out, and a huge green light. That's going to have a big penalty for I'm sure when the rest of the field gets away. No stalls that I was aware of. And look at the move up to the inside, the 2 Cadillac, and a great launch this time by Andy Pilgrim. He was so distressed by his starting and run problem. They resolved it, and then look at that, a brace of Global Motorsports Group Audis.
Yeah, look at that big line there, but how about that Cadillac 1 and 2? And not a very great start from our K-Pax Racing Volvo S60Rs, picked up 1 or 2 positions, but we expected a lot more out of those Volvos, split now by that Tim Papis Mercedes and Mike Skeen Chevy Corvette.
And Skeen watched by Papis right now. He's already going and looking, dicing with him. And Scott Bove in the BBS Motul BMW having a bit of a moment on the opening lap, going into the S's. Being offline, hopefully that's all it was. When he gets back on, take a look at what's going on here for the rest of the field. And boy,
Rick Boucher right there on the inside of Barry Curtin there.
Yeah.
Getting kind of close quarters back there in our big GTS field here.
Johnny O'Connell.
And there's the call right there. 33. That's Hornet Racing now. Mercedes SLSA and GT3 jump start
Papis. Skeen got by Papis, and a big move down to the inside by Randy Popes, trying to get by Tim Papis as well. And it looks like Alex Figge had already managed to do that. Papis trying to fight. Oh, big squeeze there by Popes. And Papis at the last second when he's going to turn in. Breathed out of it and save the front end of that Mercedes so that he can continue to run here. That's going to be interesting to see. Right behind that, we have Courtney pretty strong as well.
Yeah, that kid ring stuff not Audi already that is the not part of the Global Motorsport that is a private airport. Courtney Racing, so great to see him up there in 11th place right now.
Yeah, doing a nice job of doing it with his own team. First year for that team as a completely private entity. He's partnered with other teams before. They're doing a superb job. There is that battle. There is the number 10 of Lasse Aschenbach as we take a look at what the running was in the GTS division here. Lasse, of course, is right up front along with Mr. Bell. And it looks with Andy Lee, it looks like Lasse was able to really play that start to perfection and has moved up into the lead. That's the lead, that yellow and black Camaro. That's got that Porsche splitting these two right now.
Yeah, David Donner there, Porsche there, Donner Racing, Donner Motorsports. Unfortunately, has split those two cars. I don't think he's holding Lee up anyway. Once he gets the straight here, put the battle here. Andy Lee trying to run that down, and I believe it's going to be Nick Johnson.
Yeah, Andy Lee had the same scenario with Lasse Aschenbach that Safrona's had with O'Connell yesterday. He waited a little bit too long. Got to the back of the bumper of that black number 10, but was not able to get the move made. There you see Donner going by, and now Lasse Aschenbach is going to have Andy Lee, and then the two Kias. Those Kias in a straight line, they move.
Oh, they absolutely do. That's for sure. Speaking of movement, look at this guy.
Wow, just working the curves is what you've got to do here at this track. Got a rider out here, Eric Kern, of course, top place challenge driver. Great down south there in Davis, one ride around this place. And he said, I'm going to give you the real deal. We're going to hit some curves so that you know what these guys are dealing with. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was awesome right there. I got to ride one of these.
Oh, no, Connell! He's got it. Looks like something wrong with the left front. I don't know whether it looks like it might be a broken suspension or something.
Yeah, I don't see any marks where there was contact or nothing. No. You definitely saw that left front tire shaking, and heartbreak here. That put Andy down to 1-2 Cadillac 1-2 with O'Connell and Pilgrim. Now the Cadillac Racing GTS out front. Andy Pilgrim, the number 8.
Wow, that's just not something you very often see. And O'Connell just limping it to a stop. He's got to be getting a little tired of that. Had that wind with the piece of debris right through the radiator, and now probably a piece of debris through the suspension. So that's going to put Safronis up into second, and Duncan Endy is going to be sitting in third. And Duncan Endy's had a couple of issues in a couple of the early races of the season with mechanical problems, having to do engine swaps or the like, starting in the back and putting on great drives. And today he is well placed to really take it to it, see what he can do at the sharp end.
And his teammate Mike Hedley right there, that Under Armour Global Motorsports Group out here, normally driven by Anders Hayner. Anders not able to make it, but Alex Welch as well, the rookie coming in first year in that Spider Lasso R8 as well. So just a whole fleet of Audi R8s from Global Motorsports Group sitting second, third, fourth, and fifth right now.
Well, when you bring 6, there's a good numbers game.
Yeah, I think you played the odds on that one, right?
Exactly. Hedlund doing a very nice job, as we talked about, qualifying in the 6th spot and showing that he's got the absolute raw pace for it. And interestingly, Alex Welch qualifying in 5th. Those two guys making a little bit of a swap from qualifying positions, but both of them showing some pretty good speed in the early parts of the season here. But it's Pilgrim over Safronis and Endy in GTS. Continues to be Aschenbach, Lee, Janssen, and then Wilkins with Baldwin sitting in 5th in that Motul. Oh, and O'Connell just trying to gently limp that thing all the way around and get it back to the pits. Or maybe he's just now trying to look for a safe spot to pull over so we don't have any calls.
No, I got to believe the championship and the success he had here yesterday, he has to try to salvage every single point he can. If there's any problem, well, no, he did stop again, so it looks like he is going to be the safety. See the SCCA Pro Racing stewards on the radio. Great position for him, so he can stay green.
Absolutely, it was a great job. Johnny O'Connell, pretty savage. Raced a long time, won a lot of championships. pull off, not affect the others out there in the race, they will certainly appreciate it. Talking about Jack Baldwin and Moto Stock Check Mometics GTS Goldcrest, that's the team. Cayman, talking about it, and Jack said he was really, really proud of that run yesterday. Unquestionably, that car is more stock than any other car in the GTS category out there right now. He said, we're just bringing the neck out of it. He said, it's amazing what it's doing. We just don't have the pace relative to the others. He said, but we can run those laps, lap after lap after lap. And he said, we just stay in it, and there at the end, it's a great job.
I think he actually used the phrase the Australian. It's like a boomerang.
Yeah.
Let the guys go out, and smash that in.
Come on back, you betcha. And behind him, there's the World Challenge legend, Petey Cunningham, in that Acura HPD real-time Acura that had qualified a little bit better, then slipped back, drifted backwards as the race unfolded. Like I said, talking to him, we have made some changes. We think we found something. He said, whether we'll be able to be right there in the front of the don't know. We should be better than we were yesterday, especially late in the race.
Yeah, you mentioned Legend. Grassroots Motorsports, our official media partner, an article about who actually has the most professional sports cars in America. Nobody in sports car racing in America has a victory.
I got two up because I think Randy Popst
He's got to be right there on the top of the list as
second
well.
or third, indeed. There's a good look at Mike Skeen, that Hawk Performance Corvette, just currently running in the 8th spot right now, behind the two Volvos. Alex Figge, indeed, around Randy Popst, did that at the start. And then Tim Papis is watching back there in that Black Swan Mercedes. There he is, that silver and green liveried machine as they come up here. And the two Volvos right now. You know, it's interesting. You go to different tracks, different packages, different types of programs, more effective on some, less effective on others. And that's what makes this series as well interesting. Go to a lot of different tracks, and at a couple of racetracks with this one car, it's going to shine, it's going to be strong. At another track, another car might be a little bit stronger. I think we're seeing that play out right here.
Yeah, it's Randy, and that I think that goes for the car make as well as the driver. Randy Pope says, "Hey, I feel I'm great on street circuits. I started doing autocrosses, which you set up some cones out in a parking lot, and it's a timed lap. You can't really see very well. You have to know the track right away." He says, "I have an advantage there due to my race history. Limited grip on a street circuit. Now his Volvo K-Pax S60R has that advantage as well."
So it's strength to strength on a circuit like that, but right now I don't think there's any doubt the Cadillacs and the Audis are the package here for sure. And it's been fun watching Global Motorsports Group. James Sofronis says, whoa, and a little bit wide there for the 40 of Hedlund. And Alex Welch says thank you, and just motors right on by. And Hedlund now trying to just gas it and get back in without losing any more positions. Oh, he may have a problem. Something has gone wrong with Hedlund's number 40 Under Armour Audi R8 LMS. That's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, it looks like he's still under power there. I know some of the other Audis reported some overheating issues, and the computer would actually save the motor, put it down in a limp mode, and it does look like it is. You saw those brake lights blinking, and that means that it is in the save mode or pit lane speed limit mode. We like to call it the limp mode, but works out pretty good.
Well, and it
Way
saves
to save these motors,
it
and
saves
transmissions and everything.
expensive engines and drive lines and the like. And that's the whole comment. There's a look at Dane Moxlow, a little bit further back in the GTS category, running 24th overall right now, and right in the mix, having a battle. Right behind him comes the owner of the Black Dog Speed Shop team, Tony Gaples, and right behind him, Nick Isayan, and the teammate to Peter Cunningham. This battle unfolding, as I said, a little bit further back in the pack in this category, basically for 10th in GTS.
Good shot here of this beautiful facility here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And back down to our leaders now. Look at Andy Lee here in GTS. He's starting to slowly reel in Lawson Aschenbach.
Well, obviously, Andy got best lap in that race yesterday because he was on pole for this one. And he had to get through some traffic. He had to get around those Kias. And then he said, I waited too long, because he did reel down and catch Lawson. So that's his program right now. And I think we've got a new leader. Looks as though James Sofronis has gone around Andy Pilgrim and picked up the lead in that Global Motorsports Group Mobile 1 Audi. And like I said, I talked to James earlier. He said, yeah, I'm not waiting. I'm going if I get the opportunity. And he has.
Boy, he put his money where his mouth was. How about that, huh? Right around Andy Pilgrim there, into the lead now in that R8. And congratulations there. So it is going to be GMG first, third, fourth, now with Headland falling off, the next AMG car is going to be Mike Headland all the way down in 10th.
Yeah, great run, great start to the season by James Safronis. And he won, getting that win. Fortuitous, yes, but if he wouldn't have been in third, he doesn't get that win at Long Beach when the problems hit Figge and then O'Connell. So, you know, you get there by earning it still, even if you get a little bit of a break. But has, without doubt, has shown tremendous speed. Had pole at Long Beach and very close here. And one of the things that they say about these cars, aside from the fact that they get better as the race unfolds, the balance comes in. He said until the tires really get hot and the rears get used up a little bit, there's so much grip in the back, it's tough to get them to turn in. When the balance comes in, they're awesome. But James said the other thing is, he goes, there's lots of race cars out there that go fast, but they go fast differently in terms of how you have to drive them. Some of them use sling, and I mean, you're in there and you're working. And he said the Audi is it's like you're sitting in your recliner. He said it's just one of the most, doing a video game, it's one of the most comfortable cars to drive quick, but you can do it easily.
Wow, that'd be if it's that easy, heck, maybe I can go down to Global Motorsports Group and we can add an 8th car.
Yeah, just, you know, bring the checkbook. Oh, look at this. Tim Papis going after it early, gets down the inside and picks up the spot on Alex Figge. Nice move by Tim Papis. I think that finish yesterday, Jeff, absolutely enlivened him. When we were talking to him in the pre-race show, there was an energy about him, and you could see he was ready to go. He wanted to get racing again because he knew that car was good.
Oh yeah, moved up to 6th place now. Only one spot back away from where he's going to be up to where he finished yesterday. He definitely wanted to improve on that, and he's starting a little bit earlier with his charge today. Right now we have 36 minutes remaining in this race. We're working on lap number 8 currently out of 27.
And behind him now, obviously got around Figge. Then it is Mike Skeen, that number 2 Hawk Performance vet. Jeff Courtney, the 99 Kenda Rec Stuff Audi. And 32 Curtis in the Global Motorsports Group Audi. That's the United Steel Supply Spectra Resources machine, completing the top 10 in GT. And GTS continue to have that great battle unfolding between Aschenbach and Lee. Then it's Janssen and Wilkins, 3rd, 4th. In the Kias, Baldwin hanging on to 5th. Cunningham, Udell, and the rookie Quintanilla once again doing a superb job in that New York Spine car. Great to have them joining the championship.
Yeah, it's a father and son team and 2 brand new Porsche Caymans. It's great to have them here. Awesome job, and they kind of, I made the dad feel really good, so I'm like, are you guys brothers?
You're just looking forward to interviews with him later. And
I just want to go down there for the free lunch. They had a nice catering thing set up, so you butter them up, you get the free lunch.
You're going to do well as an announcer and a media guy, because that's really what we live for, you know. All right, now this is going to get interesting because Peter Lesafra in the Fusion Worldwide Green Hornet Racing Mercedes now is going to come up as he's trying to catch the back of the GT field, and is going to work his way through our leaders in GTS. Nice job there. Really didn't impede Andy at all in that Crown 7 Bondurant IT machine. Now the question, and look at Lawson going, no, you're not going to blunt my run here. If you're going to do this, do it right. Now Peter's going to dive to the inside, maybe not what Lawson wanted, but see, right there, Lawson Aschenbach showing how you do that is he just dipped it a little bit, let him go, and then turned underneath him instead of trying to race him through that corner and losing a lot more momentum. But it did hurt him. Lee got a little bit better run.
Yeah, a little bit better run, but he would have lost a lot more than that. He would have lost the lead if that would have happened. So great heads-up driving there by Lawson, and he just continues to improve and improve. 2-time winner this year in Pirelli World Challenge.
And like we said, comes in here 1 full point behind point leader Jack Baldwin. And as I said, folks, you can accrue over 100 points for a race win in World Challenge. So to have it 4 races in down to a point gives you an idea of just how intense the battling is here in the GTS division, in all of them, but certainly in GTS, between a guy in a Porsche and a guy in a Camaro in the GTS class.
Yeah, the different parity through the series. Over 20 different makes here this weekend with all 4 of our category cars here in the Pirelli World Challenge to try to get all those cars to match so that any given racetrack, every car would have a chance to win.
We're getting a report. One of our cars that I think is Dane Moxlow is going to be doing a drive-through. I didn't quite catch the reason. Dane right now sitting in the GTS category with that battle he'd been having with Gelati and the gang. That's going to be put on hold. As Andy Pilgrim right now just trying to do whatever he can to the car right that just went out of the bottom of the screen. That's your leader, Safronis. And Pilgrim trying to do whatever he can to stay with him. There is James Safronis. And just a Cinderella season on a lot of levels for James. You know, he started racing BMWs as Greek Brothers Racing. He and his brother started off, and they did some World Challenge stuff. Then he and Fabrice Caduba built this Global Motorsports Group company as an aftermarket provider, you know, sort of a speed shop, if you will, specializing in Porsches. Came up with a World Challenge line of parts derived from this championship, and they have continued to work on that. And he said it's been a long haul, but you know, to be in a spot where we could, it's busy, but comfortably bring 7 cars here, that's just a great achievement off the racetrack for this team, and he's showing what they can do on it.
Yeah, and of course they've got a new shop built and everything down there. I believe they're in Santa Ana, California now. Loving it right there. Long Beach win has got to be a highlight of his career. You know, winning that 2 times now for Long Beach, and first time here. And you walk down to there, it literally is a compound with 7 different cars that they have set up, and now trying to get win number 3 here.
I know, he's such a nice guy, very much a family man, great guy. Walked up to him earlier when he was walking out of that compound. I looked at him and just kind of said, "Hey, when are you going to step this program up?" You know, it's just tremendous what they've been able to do, and done that with a great connection. I think it's been a great dynamic. I think he certainly has brought a lot to the Pirelli World Challenge, but the Pirelli World Challenge has been instrumental in the development and growth of Global Motorsports Group. There's Scott Bove, again running that Motul TGG BBS BMW, and running been having a pretty good, you know, bit of a battle. He had that early spin, and so he's just trying to fight back through the pack.
Yes, and 19th, he saw Roger Rodas right in front of him, is kind of dragging that left rear bumper, and I'm not sure which car that is. Roger unfortunately had a problem at Long Beach where wiped that car out.
Yeah.
Of course, Paul Walker from Fast and the Furious fame and a lot of other movies there, partial owner of that team as well. Roger had to give a call, "Hey buddy, can I borrow your race car?" And I'm sure Paul Walker was more than gracious, did that. The guys literally built the car today, stickered it up right before the race, got him out in the race, and they're back at it here again, of course, with teammate Eric Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. There are those 2 Kias running 3rd and 4th, and behind them you see Jack Baldwin in the Porsche, and right behind him Petey Cunningham running 5th and 6th, and that battle's starting to heat up just a little bit.
Yeah, I like to see those 2 veterans go at it, and it kind of makes you think that the front-wheel drive cars maybe just buying their time a little bit. You don't want to burn off these Pirelli P0s, because these Pirelli P0s, man, they can take a beating. But if you do abuse any tire, it's going to hurt. So my old driving coach, Stan Fox, used to tell me, you can make the tires talk to you, you just can't make them scream at you.
That's basically exactly it. You know, they'll let you know, they'll protest at a certain point, and you've got to be wary of that. And I think I think you're absolutely right. I think those 2 Kias said, we went out hard early. We ran with these guys, ran the fronts right off the car. These long duration corners just will chew up a front drive tire, and I think that's exactly right. I think saying, let's just save it and then have something left at the end. And I think that's Petey Cunningham's plan as well. And again, you know that Kinetic Motorsport and that Kia Motors America Optimus, they didn't just sit still after the race yesterday. They went through, what can we do to optimize the setup to give us a little bit more speed, a little bit more life.
And a lot of like these top teams they have multiple data to look at too. 2 different cars they can kind of go through and see where, as a driver, you can see where's this driver better than me, where am I better, and I can try to find where I can improve my lap times as well, not only from the car side but on my own driving side.
Yeah, watching Tommy Dreese and the Heat Porsche as it comes through. Tommy Dreese, folks, whenever you go to a movie and you see those big life-size cardboard cutouts in the movie theater lobby for upcoming movies, that's what Tommy's company does. So he always has a great relationship with the Hollywood movie industry, and as a result, always puts some great movies on the side of that car, and it's a lot of fun. Meanwhile, watching Andy Pilgrim, and Andy now is starting to run a little bit more with an eye to the mirrors, I think, because coming up hard astern in that Standorg Merchant Services Global Motorsports Group Audi R8 LMS is one Duncan Endy, who has proven to be a tremendous racer. You know, he's still struggling, I think, to just get the max speed out of these R8 LMSs in qualifying, but in race trim, he's strong. And Andy really got held up there by one of the GTS machines, and Duncan is there.
Yeah, you can't pass anybody down from that turn 2 complex all the way down to turn number 6. And Andy held up a little bit. Here's Duncan Endy on the brakes, right on the back bumper now, that Cadillac CTS VR.
Yeah, he would have, I think, given it a go, but Andy sensed it, just sort of drifted to the left a little bit and said, you're not going to get one that early. Now we'll see what Duncan can do since he's basically there. And at this point, you know what's going to happen here. Andy's just going to be turn in a little bit earlier, and of course that slows you down, and it also will heat up tires a little bit more because you're tightening up the radiuses, but you've got to defend yourself, be a little defensive when you've got somebody coming up. This is for second. You don't give it up easily, and they are coming up on the back of 6th in GTS, P.D. Cunningham.
Yeah, all the way caught up there all the way. So, man, James DeFrontis has checked out now, over 6 seconds lead in this battle. But don't count out Alex Welch as well. We noticed it during our touring car and TCB race. If these guys start racing side by side, that's going to help Alex Welch close that gap in that Spider Lasso R8.
Yeah, and right here, Andy is hoping he can get by P.D. Cunningham and that Duncan won't. And Duncan is just saying, no, I'm going to try it, P.D. And there you go. P.D., another driver with less experience, may have continued to turn in. There would have been contact, and they both may have broke. And P.D. just opened the wheel just for an instant, said, Duncan's coming, I'm just going to let him go. And yeah, P.D. may have lost touch at this point with Baldwin, but he would have wrecked possibly and been done had he not done that. And that's when a wise professional race driver makes the calculated risk, and when you don't take a risk.
Yeah, but the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh there. He got a big gap with Andy Pilgrim because of the battle there with P.D. Cunningham trying to get around him. And then now Andy Pilgrim got held up by Jack Baldwin down to the S's, the part we talked about. And now here is Duncan Indy right back on the back bumper of Andy Pilgrim now.
Oh boy, this is going to be close here, as Duncan definitely has the bit between his teeth. And that Audi is very, very stout the deeper we get into a race. And at this point, don't want to jinx anything. We've had a green run here, and it's just been flat out racing at this point as we are coming up on just about halfway now, about a minute away from the halfway point in this one. Lots of racing yet to go, but it's the latter half of the race where we see who really dialed the setup in on a car that's going to be quick late in the run.
Yeah, it's really going to start paying dividends here halfway. And remember, if we get a halfway point, it is going to definitely affect there. As you see now, our GT leader, James DeFrontis, getting through our GTS leaders of Lawson Aschenbach and Andy Lee. Nice clear sailing. You saw the gap back there to Andy Pilgrim. That's where he's at, as the number 52, always evolving performance, Roger Roadhouse Mustang, had to pit and get that rear bumper ripped off. Hopefully he holds DeFrontis up a little bit, because like we said, it may be 6 seconds, but that can evaporate in a heartbeat here.
Yeah, it was close. He came out and James was right there, but I think he got through with it. One thing I'm noticing is that Lawson Aschenbach, you watch the lines through the corner, both of those Camaros of Lawson in the Black Dog Speed Shop and the Crown 7 Bondurant IT entry of Andy Lee there, that black and yellow car, they're both about equal speed, but Lawson, that car's moving around a lot more as he's doing it. Big quick spin by Tommy Dreese in the Porsche, but no harm, no foul, gathered it up, and we'll get going again right in front of our GTS lead battle.
Yeah, and I don't know, Tommy doesn't want to spoil the show there, so he got underway quickly as he could. And boy, Tommy really affects my movie budget on these different movies he has on his car, man. It's like I know which movie to go see based on what Tommy has on his car.
Yeah, basically. It's pretty effective advertising, certainly, to be able to get out and do it. And if you've ever had a chance on a fan walk or an autograph session to visit with Tommy, I wish that we could extract that out of his veins and bottle it and sell it, because he is one of the most effervescent human beings you're ever going to meet.
And great personality. If you want, all Pirelli World Challenge pits and paddocks are always open. Come on by and talk to everybody. And got to talk. Look at that little bump there from Andy Lee coming off. It's going to be a drag race now coming down the straightaway. I think Andy needs to tuck in behind Lawson here, but he's going to leave his nose there and see who has more power.
Yeah, I think Andy came in there and loosened him up.
Rubbin's racing, right?
That's right.
There it is, Andy Lee to the inside. No, Lawson shuts the door.
But I think that's the indication. Andy is telling Lawson, look, you're squirming, you're bouncing around. I'm here, I'm quick. You better not make a mistake. Now, the one thing you can be pretty confident about Lawson Aschenbach, he's not going to fold under pressure. If his car is going off or Andy's is just getting better, it may be something inevitable. But you don't often force a Lawson Aschenbach into a mistake.
No, not at all. And you saw the little glimpse there of Andy Pilgrim now and the battle with Duncan Indy from second, third in GT, right behind our leaders in GTS. And they'll be wanting to come through, because I'm sure that neither one of these drivers want to spoil the show for each of them. But boy, you got to be really careful if you're an Andy Pilgrim. You want to way sideways there.
Woo!
There's Duncan Indy now to the outside.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, that was fortunate for Andy. I think Duncan would have been through if it hadn't have been for those two. And here he comes. Duncan has knifed through, and right there, Andy, he got offline, out of rhythm just a little bit, and by the time he could really get back to the apex in that next corner, Duncan had already stuck the nose down underneath, and now Duncan is going, yeah, exactly what Duncan wanted. I'm going to put a car between you and me here as we get through this long arcing corner and give myself a little buffer before we get onto that front straight. And there, Lasse Aschenbach opened the door up and said, go, I'm coming right behind you, buddy, don't hold me up. Boy, there was a piece of paper maybe room between those two bumpers.
Did he type that? Thank God it wasn't a Post-it note, because if the glue on the Post-it note probably would have caused both those cars to crash.
And look who's joined that battle, essentially, with that moment by Andy. Duncan getting through, but it slowed them both up. And just behind Lasse Aschenbach making the move, that is Alex Welch. And Alex Welch has been putting up some pretty good numbers in terms of lap times here, and he's bringing Popst and Papis right with him, and Popst down the inside of Lasse Aschenbach. And that may have been problematic, except that right behind Lasse Aschenbach is Papis, and so there was not a lot Lee could do in that scenario.
No, he was kind of stuck there. And now Tim Papis splitting the two Camaros. I know that Papis wants to get around him as quickly as possible. That really opened the gap up now between him and Popes.
Yeah, this is where Papis will, this might be the only time he's hot inside that car. It's just will be because he's hot and bothered, and he couldn't quite get around that guy until now. Now he'll pull out. But he lost a bit of time in that battle to Mr. Popst, and that yellow striped blue Volvo right there is Randy Popst, just hanging on to a top 5, working through some of the GTS machinery and trying to stay with Alex Welch. So we're going to take a bit of a break here on world-challengetv.com on our global web stream. We'll keep calling things right here at the track, of course. But it is currently Sofronis over Andy Pilgrim, Welch, and Popst in GT. And in GTS, it continues to be the Camaros of Aschenbach and Lee, the Optimas of Janssen and Wilkins, and the Porsche of Jack Baldwin. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Cadillac Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas is being brought to you by the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTS-V coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Optima batteries. With twice the life and 15 times the vibration resistance, Optima batteries really are the ultimate power source. Hi everybody, welcome back, and we've got a bit of a moment here at Circuit of the Americas. Scott Beauvais, the number 22 Motul BBS wheels BMW, looked like he had an engine problem, had some oil come out, had a miraculous save, but we just saw in that shot Nick Kasayan in the real-time Acura HPD. Acura off in that area as well. Don't know whether he got the oil or what. And this is a great thing to see. Randy Popst, who yesterday in round 4 just dropped back through the order, today has come alive here as we are into our second half of this race. Randy Popst has run down and passed Alex Welch, putting him up into 4th, and Randy has one more car in front of him, the silver Cadillac, to get on the podium. This is great to see. I'll tell you, that K-Pax crew came up with a setup for Randy Popst.
Yeah, they sure did. I don't know if that's Randy conserving what he had, but bouncing over those curves, he's not conserving anything right now. Good heads up from that K-Pax crew.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Randy just with an improved setup, obviously on the car, but also saying I'm going to lay back, give myself something to work with. Oh, Todd Neporalski off. That's a shame in that beautiful Tremec Camaro.
Yeah, they're down through that S's again. There's Scott Beauvais, and there's Alex Figge now spun as well. There's got to be fluid down on the course. We need to get a look at that with 4 different cars now spinning off through the S's. I'm not sure if we're going to do something about that or not, or they're letting all the drivers aware right now that, hey, look, guys, there is fluid there. Please be careful. If you run offline, you will hit that.
And I'm sure the workers have that yellow and orange stripe flag waving furiously, which is a surface flag, meaning there's a change in the service. And now we're getting a call. Safety car might be standing up, and it's either for the oil on the track or it's for all the cars that are parked in that area, especially if they've stalled. We have a full course yellow, and oh my, if this cleanup happens quick enough, Sofronis had opened up a significant lead over the field. As this unfolded, almost 10 seconds, it's gone, and those guys that have been racy here, they get to cool off those tires and see if anybody can come. This is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, but great call there from the SCCA Pro Racing crew. They saw the problems that was going on, made the call immediately, sent out the safety car. There we go. Yellow flag, full course yellow, unfortunately, but we still have 17 minutes left and 7 laps left, so there's still plenty of time to get the car of Scott Beauvais out of there, cleaned up a little bit. I saw some parts coming out of the bottom of that. I'm wondering if he had like a hose failure or a fitting failure or something like that that caused that fluid to come down the track, but not how he wants to make his second race of the year results that he's looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an unfortunate thing. But again, now we're under full course caution. This is going to bunch this field up. And it's interesting. It's going to bring those Kias a little bit closer to those Camaros. Jack Baldwin, P.D. Cunningham. Both of these classes, any margins that were there, of course, gone. And it's going to be fascinating because, you know, the one thing we were watching was Andy Pilgrim. Clearly, that car was not working as well as he wanted it to. The longer this race went on. There's a look at Scott Beauvais out of the car and over there chatting. Johnny O'Connell has pulled up. Yeah, but stopping once again.
Must be, this is not Le Mans. You can't stop along the straight and pick up barbecues the whole way. You know?
Exactly.
We don't have that here, but
that's a shame.
Yeah, it is sad for that team. That Cadillac CTS VR won the race yesterday, was on the pole yesterday, looking for the same results today on the pole, but unfortunately, if he's not winning the race or out front, he's stop on the side of the track.
Yep, Safronis, Endy, Pilgrim, Popes, Welch, your top 5 with Papis lurking, Skeen, Courtney, Figgy, and Curtis. Nice run by Curtis up into 10th. And then, of course, once again, in the GTS division, it's Aschenbach over Lee, the Camaros, Janssen and Wilkins, Baldwin, Cunningham, Udell, Lucas Cantanilla, the rookie in the Porsche, Lou Gelati. This is, he considers this his home race right now, and it's great for him to be able to be here in his LG Motorsports machine, and Dane Moxlow sitting in the 10th position. And I think Dane is delighted this weekend after problematic starts at St. Pete and Long Beach with incidents. One of them, I think, just a mistake. The other one, he actually had a mechanical issue. And yesterday, he had a pretty trouble-free run, and that's what he needed. He needed to get just some laps and some seat time in this car. Door open for Johnny O'Connell. I think he's just trying to get it cool. Looking over that right front where we saw that problem, wasn't he?
Oh, the left front was actually the problem.
Oh,
I think he's still trying to see where it's coming from. I'm sure the wheel looked like the wheel was shaking in his hand. He probably checking the whole front end and seeing what was going on with that. There he sees the problem now on that left front wheel, and he'll hop over the wall and gives a big thumbs up there to some of the fans and the FCCA volunteer, by the way, safety crew here, course marshals and flaggers.
Yep, an amazing group, these course marshals, all the volunteers. There's so many, and so many different areas at a big event like this where you have to have volunteers. You just couldn't do it with a full-on paid staff. It's so many specialties. These volunteers, every bit as important to a race weekend as any one of these drivers and or teams. And the ones that, of course, are most obvious are those that are out in harm's way, out on the track with the course marshals, providing information and assistance to these drivers as these races unfold.
Well, we have some special treats here from the Pirelli World Challenge, and as we do each one of our broadcasts, we give away a car here in the Pirelli World Challenge. So talk about a giveaway prize. That's right, if you play the Facebook game Car Town, now is your chance to win one of the Pirelli World Challenge cars from the game Car Town. Here is your question that you need to tweet to @WC Racing. Make sure you use the hashtag PirelliWC. Who won the Optima Batteries best standing start here yesterday in round number 4 in our GTS race? Tweet that answer to @WC Racing, hashtag PirelliWC.
That's very cool indeed. Why don't you tell people how they can follow Pirelli World Challenge in terms of social media?
Yeah,
lots of opportunities.
Go to our Facebook fan page, search for Pirelli World Championships there. You can look at that at the Pirelli World Challenge. And then we also have Twitter at WC Racing, on Instagram at Pirelli World Challenge as well. So a lot of great social media there, sharing all kinds of stories. If you can't make it to the track, here's your chance to see what's going on. Each individual team posts stories as well. We have our live web stream. Once again, I want to welcome everybody there at world-challengetv.com. We had a great turnout from the great fans here in Austin at our driver autograph session yesterday. Our Pirelli World Challenge Performance Zone. We have the Pirelli World Challenge Social Media Lounge presented by Recaro. I mean, just the partners and the fan experience that you fans have. Look on the website. Go to Pirelli World Challenge. Look at World-Challenge and see where we're coming in a market near you. Come out to a race.
Oh, please do. You'll love it. It is as inviting a paddock as you're going to find. And not just from a series perspective, but the teams and drivers love to have the fans come down and visit. And one thing, when you go to world-challengetv.com, if you missed a race earlier in the season, they're all archived there. You can go either watch the web stream or after the show airs on NBC Sports, give it a little bit of time, and even those are archived. So you can get the two different perspectives, the live stream as it's happening in your face, and then a week later or so, the NBC Sports show with all the in-cars and the onboards and all of the fun extra stuff that we put into those shows. So a couple of different perspectives for you to enjoy. We are I think we may be getting close to having this restart happen. All right, we get the indication this next lap will be, we get one more lap under caution. They feel the cleanup will be done, and we're going to go back to racing. Not a lot of time, but you know what? It just turned it into a shootout sprint of epic proportions, I think, here, because this is going to be phenomenal with both classes compressed, all of those margins gone, guys able to cool tires, brakes, maybe themselves, although sometimes these cautions are actually can be harder on a driver than the racing, depending upon how the ducting works, because it's the car moving along that gets the air to the drivers. But it's going to be interesting to see. I can't wait.
Now, one to go next time by, and it's going to be interesting to see who can serve something for the end. Now, this plays perfectly into the strategy for those drivers and teams that said, let's save it for a little while, and then let's make a run for it at the end. You can't ask for anything better than a full course yellow.
Well, it's going to be interesting because we saw Randy Popes looking very strong suddenly, coming on big time. But if that was because he had conserved and the guys in front of him the tires were a little too hot, they've now had a chance to cool them off. I mean, it's really a crapshoot to see after this long run who keeps the tires at just the optimum tire temps and pressures for the restart that can get it jump if they want to. This is what makes it fascinating, and they only have, by the time we go back to green, we're going to have something along the order of 10 minutes for these guys to sort this and settle it.
Yeah, it's going to be about enough time for about 3 laps, maybe 4. So it's gonna, if you're gonna have to get it done, you're gonna have to get it done quick. You cannot afford to lack back a little bit and say, okay, I'm gonna try to see if I can get a run. No, your run has to be when that green flag comes out.
And the only thing that sometimes gives one pause about these restarts, the yellow, okay, so it bunches it up. It's going to make it exciting. It brings players back into the game. But also, when you're bunched up on these restarts, that's when you can have another incident. So the drivers need to be very, very good about being clean on the restart and then go racing. And these guys are professionals, and we're looking forward to seeing this play out right now. A little bit of emergency work here by the camera boys.
There's a great shot of Rick Boucher in that Motul SPL Parts Nissan 370Z from Nissan Performance as well. Helping out with that big support there from Motul as well, and great job from Rick Boucher. Still in this field, had a lot of problems this year at the incident at Long Beach. Great to see him still running.
Yeah, I mean, he was, kind of like Moxlow and a couple others, that just those opening rounds were just, frustrating beyond belief, and to actually just get some laps in, finish a race, that's so important just to confidence, and also getting seat time in the car for the driver and for the crew to be able to say, all right, now we know what we need to do to tweak on this just a little bit, and that's what you want to see. That's one of the reasons, the Volvo team, this was the first year that they haven't had some monster development going on, either in originally developing that car or when they went with the brand new body style and the like. This year they've just been able to massage, and they've come out swinging. We're about to swing the restart green as James Safronis, Duncan Andy, Andy Pilgrim, Randy Popes, and Alex Welch, the top 5, bringing it up to the line, and we are green. Safronis timing that one very, very well. Look at Andy Pilgrim. Doesn't want to waste time. Duncan Andy going to defend, but Pilgrim's going to force the issue. Pilgrim is through. He is into second, running wide. Andy even wider. And look at Randy Popes. He's going to sweep the outside, that all-wheel drive, giving him some grip out there. He's by Andy. Then a look. For a minute there, showed the nose, and we've got Aschenbach and one of the Kias, I think that is the number 36 of Nick Janssen, getting together.
Oh, wow, huge damage there, and that car is in a bad area through turn number 1. Before this course goes full course yellow, you better make your passes now because the race is on until the caution.
Unbelievable. Look at this. That is the number 24 of Andy trying to get by Popes, knowing that there may well be a caution coming unless Nick Janssen is able to limp that car off. So Andy knows he lost that spot. He got snookered. And tell you what, that was a classic pass by Andy Pilgrim. He was not going to be denied. He was decisive when he made the move, to the point that there was nothing Andy could do. And the experience of a Randy Popst, that allowed him to pounce on the opportunity. And a big change, Andy from second to fourth, and these two guys moving up. And obviously Aschenbach, that's a huge thing for Lasse Aschenbach. Serious in this points championship battle, and to get knocked down the order like that. He was able to continue, but he's going to be way, way down as things happen. Here we go, coming by with 40, well, let's see, so 45, that'll be 7 minutes remaining. 7 minutes remaining as this lap completes, Jeff.
And they did let the drivers know that there is a car off driver rights in a relatively low-speed part of the course off the track there. You see how far off he is, so we might be able to stay green here and finish this race out.
Well, they let a car sit up there a little bit earlier this weekend in one of the races, thinking that odds are, you can never be sure of anything, but odds are it's not going to happen. There is the 38 of Wilkins, and he has got Jack Baldwin starting to heap some pressure on. So in GTS, Lee leads it. Wilkins, Baldwin, Cunningham, Udell now up into the top 5 for the young 17-year-old from Texas.
Yeah, how about that? Your home race coming up here. They consider this their home race. Of course, Houston will be their home race as well. Texas is your home no matter what. There is the lone Kia Optima now from Kia Motors America. Mark Wilkins in second. And Jack Baldwin, how about that? A points machine now.
Yeah, he has been something special there. Number 15, Robert Prilica, that Porsche of Colorado Springs entry, is pulled over to the wall. So he is done, and I think he's out of the way. That shouldn't be a big issue. Look at Papis trying to stay in it here.
Got reports that Tim Papis actually had to make a pit stop and change a right rear tire on that car, so he's well back in the field, still trying to go back up through the GTS field now.
Must have run over some debris. I mean, there's certainly some junk out there on the track after some of the contact, and it apparently caught him out. There's Lou Gelati. Good look there at the LG Motorsports.
Saw a great shot there of Lucas Catania, the number 81 Porsche Cayman. He's right behind Alec Udell now, the young rookie, first race weekend here, battling for a top 5 with Alec Udell.
There's a look at Andy Lee in that Crown 7 Bondurant Best IT Cat Chevy Camaro, now leading. And he has had tremendous pace all season long. Had a couple of mechanical problems that took him out of potential wins. One of them by tinking the wall at Long Beach. So he now is on his last lap with Wilkins right there. Then it's Baldwin. Then it's Cunningham. And look at this. Camaro, Kia, Porsche, Acura, Pirelli World Challenge, baby. This is what it's about, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, battle of the brands taking place right here in our GTS class. It is Andy Lee leading in that Best IT Bob Bondurant Chevy Camaro, and he has to win because I picked him.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now, keep in mind, folks, this is our final lap, so we're going to be really spotting what's going on here. Good battle. That's Lou Gelati. Again, down the order a little bit, but important. Here's Sofronis. And boy, when it went green, one, he timed the start perfectly, but he was also driven a couple of brilliant laps here. There's Pilgrim, but he has got Randy Popst all over the back deck of that beautiful silver Cadillac. Randy Popst, Andy Pilgrim, two of the most experienced driver in Pirelli World Challenge Championship history, and they are going for second spot. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, Mike Skeen, by the way, has jumped up to 4th.
All the way up to 4th now. Just going to say that Hawk Performance Chevy Corvette. But here it is. James Sofronis coming out of turn number 20 on the front stretch.
What a drive, what a year for Global Motorsports Group. The Mobile One Audi, James Sofronis getting another win. It has been an amazing year for this man. 3rd win on the season out of 5 races. From a number of pole positions he's been able to accrue as well. Just fantastic. And Andy Pilgrim able to hang on and take that second podium spot over a fast closing Randy Popst, Mike Skeen, Duncan Andy completing your GT top 5. And here comes Andy Lee, and after all the speed but none of the results, he brings it home with a great win. Right there is Mark Wilkins, Jack Baldwin, and with Aschenbach's problem, Baldwin expands that points margin again.
Yeah, how about that? Boy, Jack Baldwin getting all the points that he can and keeping, it's going to be a lot more than 1 point now.
It's going to spread it out, you betcha. I know you got to get down and do some TV interviews. Jeff Lepper, thanks so much, and we'll be heading down to Victory Circle myself here to bring you the celebrations here in just a minute. But a cool down lap unfolding here at Circuit of the Americas, and really that's a figurative term because it's hot, man. It is hot, and these guys are going to be so relieved to get out of the cars, except the guys that just won. They're going to be wishing this thing went for a while and enjoy this moment. And James Sofronis, an amazing season for both he, Global Motorsports Group, and that team and crew that have done such an incredible job. Andy Pilgrim, after the frustrations of yesterday with the clutch problem on the start, dropping way back and fighting his way up into the top 5 today, is able to bring it home in second at the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge. That's always special. And Randy Popes, after an abysmal day yesterday with that car, they were able to really hit the setup today, and Randy drove it brilliantly, bringing that Capex Volvo up onto the podium. There's your winner in GT. A great run by Andy Lee with that Kia right behind him, and enjoying this moment too for Mark Wilkins, and then of course Jack Baldwin completing the top 3 in GTS. And you know, you take a look at it, at what unfolded. We talked about the variety on the podium and in the top 5 in GTS. How about Audi, Cadillac, Volvo, Corvette, Audi? That's pretty darn good in GT as well. So that's wrapping up round number 5 of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships right here at Circuit of the Americas, the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas. Great weekend of racing, to be sure. Next round of the championships are going to be unfolding in Detroit at Belle Isle coming up the weekend after Memorial Day. So if you're going to be in that area, come on out to the Belle Isle Street Circuit, if you will, on the island, and join us there. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to head down to Victory Circle. So on the World Wide Web, on world-challengetv.com, thanks so much for joining us here from Circuit of the Americas. We will see you next time. With that, I'm going to head down to Victory Circle, guys. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Cadillac Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas is being brought to you by the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTS-V coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Optima batteries. With twice the life and 15 times the vibration resistance, Optima batteries really are the ultimate power source. The Pirelli World Challenge, the most intense and unique sports car racing on the planet. Multiple classes running at the same time, but in a sprint format. Some of the world's top manufacturers and the world's best drivers, all beginning with standing starts. It is truly Sports Car Wars. For series and event ticket information, check out world-challenge.com. To watch replays of all the intense action, check out world-challengetv.com. And always check it out, Pirelli World Challenge on Facebook.